Those opposed, the same. Thank you. Passes unanimous. Next up, we have public comment. Is there any public comment? We have no public comment today. We're moving on to item 4. 4A, I need to, unless there's changes, we need to approve the minutes from January 9th.
Move to approve the minutes.
Support.
We have a motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, the same. Passes unanimously. Thank you. Next up, we have the Sheriff Department. Welcome under Sheriff Cole.
Good morning. I'm before you requesting approval to purchase a variety of patrol vehicles, 7 to be exact, from respective My Deal bids to Ford Police Interceptors and 5 Dodge Charger patrol vehicles. These will replace patrol vehicles that have aged out and are being rotated out of the fleet. Obviously, these are budgeted for in the capital improvement plan, and we are, as I said, using the My Deal bids or state of Michigan bids. Obviously, we've been through this before, but we have a very mobile workforce, which requires vehicles. Typically, the vehicles that are being put out of service are all greater than 130,000 miles, except for one Crown Victoria, and that's mainly because of the age and the upkeep that has 121,000. Also, you will notice on the replacement summary on the back, I'm putting 8 vehicles out of service, but purchasing 7. We're not necessarily reducing the fleet by 1, but after the approval to purchase cars last year and prior to their receipt, we suffered an unsuspected loss of an engine. One vehicle that was due to go out had to be kept back and kept into use. The vehicle that had the unexpected engine loss, we basically pilfered the parts off of, kept it, and the shell of it is being turned in this year for whatever salvage auction it can gain. So that's the discrepancy there. If, I'm sure someone was going to have a question about that. Again, these will be purchased from the respective My Deal dealers, Snethkamp Dodge or Signature Ford.
Thank you.
I'd move for approval.
Support. Support. Discussion. I have a question.
Yes, sir.
The Ford Interceptors, being a utility vehicle, do we expect a longer life cycle out of them?
I don't know that I would say a longer life cycle. We are seeing a longer life cycle out of our cars than we used to. We are running cars well into the 120s, 130s without significant problems. Part of the problem that we have because of the roads, and that's of no fault of anyone, certainly not the road departments, but is we're replacing a lot of suspension-related equipment, and that's normal when you speak to other service dealers. But as far as the meat and potatoes of the vehicles, the drivetrains, the engines, things like that, we are seeing a lot longer lifespan, a lot more reliable lifespan. So we are very reliably running these into the 130,000 plus miles, like we talked about before, but I know that not everyone here had the luxury of that. When vehicles get up high in age, we begin to rotate them out to less intensive assignments, meaning a township contract where maybe there's just one deputy working one shift per day, 5 days a week, something of that nature, versus 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on frontline general county patrol, or even to the school resource officers who do marine patrol in the summertime. So we get the extra life out of them that way, but I would say just basically the vehicles and the way that they're built, we're seeing higher lifespans both out of the Dodge Chargers and the Fords. I would agree with you, the Ford is a little bit more of a rugged platform. We have had a couple issues with some of the Dodges and the engines, but those have all been warranty replaced. We have had a couple issues with the transfer cases on the all-wheel drive Explorers, but those have been replaced by Ford of no charge. I think they're working those issues out. They're all newer products, but reliable, yes, all of them, top to bottom.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Steve, did you need something? Okay. All right. We'll proceed to vote then if there's no other discussion. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, the same. Got your cars. Thank you. Thanks. Nice job. Next up, we have facilities. Welcome, Rick. We have several items for facilities today.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Before you, you have an addendum for approval for the lease between the State of Michigan and the County of Jackson for the Department of Corrections parole located at the North Lawn Building.
straightforward. Anything, anybody got any questions or discussions?
I'd move to approve the addendum to renew the MDOC lease and move it to the full board.
We have a motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Passes unanimous. Thank you, sir.
Second up, we have a report or request to approve security services for the courthouse and the North Lawn building. And I'm requesting, Mr. Chair, for the first motion that we add that it will be contingent on legal review.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Discussion?
And I'm assuming we'll have that done before the board meeting next week, I anticipate.
I'm trying my best on that, Dave.
Also move.
We have motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the same. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Rick. Good job. Next up, 4E, the finance. Talking about some budget amendments. Welcome, Mr. Latham.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're asking for approval of budget amendments in accordance with Policy 1040, departmental float. And this is our annual request where we reduce the salary and fringes of departments with salary and fringes in excess of $500,000, transfer that excess to a contingency fund. The theory here is that there are vacancies in those departments, and therefore their actual salaries at the end of the year would be less than the budget because we budget based on full-time positions. So, thank you.
Discussion? A question. What do we do if there is not a vacancy in the department? Turn around and refund it?
Yes, we do. In some cases, we have to restore some of the reductions that we've made. And this can happen where, for example, if there's vacancies, then there can be an increase in overtime that we have to cover.
Thank you. I need a motion and support.
I'd move to approve the budget amendments as presented.
We have a motion support. All in favor indicate by saying aye. 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 Those opposed, the same. Passes unanimous. Thank you. Next item is yours.
Yes, this is the annual, in this case, preliminary financial statements. Therefore, our budget benchmark is 100%, not 100 point, there's a typo there, of the annual budget. Our year-to-date expenditures is at 98.7, or it's 600,000 underspent. However, there probably will be some additional expenses that are not recorded, some payables and so forth, but not significant amounts. The December year-to-date revenue percent, however, is 92.4. This is typical of what we show this time of year because we have additional revenue accruals that are not recorded and for which we are gathering that information and so forth. The most significant adjustment that we will have is property taxes receivable of approximately 1.7 million, so forth. So be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions? Discussion? Thank you.
Good.
Next up is IT, 4G. Welcome, Don.
Good morning. Before you today is a request to procure a network firewall from Palo Alto Networks. This device will replace an existing legacy device that is now end of life and no longer supported by the vendor. We made the decision to recommend Palo Alto Networks instead of the product that is currently in place because they offer a better value for the dollar and they provide additional technologies that are considered to be closer to the leading edge. This organization makes products that fit into what's called the Gartner Magic Quadrant. Gartner is a information technology review organization that reviews products and evaluates them on the basis of the vendor's implementation of technology and their ability to perform and the resulting value for the dollar.
I move to approve the purchase of the Palo Alto Network firewall.
Thank you.
You mentioned an organization or a body that was reviewing software based on network quality and value?
Yes.
That helped you select this. Do we use that firm to help us with other software products that we currently use within the county?
Yes, in fact, I currently review the Gartner studies for the products that we acquire. Some of them are not reviewed by Gartner because of the fact that they're specialty applications, and as such, then we have to make our own reviews. Just by way of information, one of the things that I implemented when I came here is an internal IT department policy called the Technology Review Policy. And what we do with that is establish criteria similar to what the Gartner Group uses. There's approximately 30 different criteria against which a product is evaluated in terms of security, functionality, interoperability with other existing infrastructure, and the like. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to item 5. 5A is the claims. Need a motion and support to pay the claims. Have a motion and support. All in favor indicate by saying aye. 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 Passes unanimously. Those opposed? None. Okay, thank you. 5B, other minutes. We do not have any. Item C, we do not have anybody scheduled next month yet. Moving on to item 6, public comment. Doesn't appear we have much public. 7, committee member comments.
Sure is a light agenda.
No, we just cut through it quick. I have a good group. Okay, meeting adjourned at 12:15. 11:15.